everybody, it's the Gnome, and welcome to your August 2017 Funko Pop update. And yes, there is tons of stuff to cover today, including the continuation of the Summer of Batman. And it would just not be the conclusion of the Summer of Batman if I didn't come to you guys with my brand new Funko Pop t-shirt, which of course I got in my DC Legion of Collectors box. It is Batman the Animated Series, and it is the official logo from the end credits of the cartoon, and I just love the style of this shirt. It is one of my all-time favorite shirts that I own right now, and I'm so glad that I got it. And the box was fantastic as well. While I'm not a big Dorbs fan, this did come with a Batman the Animated Series Dorbs. It is Batman in his Batmobile, and if I didn't love Batman the Animated Series so much, I probably would have tried to sell this on eBay, but it is just impossible for me to dislike this incredible Dorbs. I've taken it out of the box and taken a better look at the Batmobile. It's just beautiful. I would have loved a pop ride a little bit more, but I will definitely take this. This is on display in my room, and I'm so happy that I have this Dorbs. But we're not here to talk about Dorbs, guys. We're here to talk about Funko Pops and the Summer of Batman, as well as some San Diego Comic-Con stuff. I'm not going to show off all of my San Diego Comic-Con Pops in one sitting. There will definitely be more time for that in the coming months. But for now, let's take a look at how my collection has been going, and then we will get on to the news. Here we go with the conclusion of the Summer of Batman. So, of course, before we get into the Summer of Batman, we have to take a look at a couple of other interesting pops that have been added to my collection, and there's no better series to go over than another member of the DC Universe. So, I'm sure you've all gone to see a little movie that made quite a splash in theaters this summer named Wonder Woman, right? So, you guys have also known that there was a whole Wonder Woman series of pops that came out in celebration of this film, and that I had already gotten my newer version of Wonder Woman for my pop collection. But it turns out that this young lady has to be a little bit more careful because a couple of baddies have just come around to start causing some mischief, so it's up to her to take them down. So let's take a look at Wonder Woman's rogues gallery of villains. We've got two so far, and I'm hoping that there will be more, especially with sequels somewhere down the pike in regards to the films. The first one that we're going to take a look at is Dr. Maru, aka Dr. Poison, and she was a DC Legion of Collectors exclusive pop. I managed to find her on eBay for a very good price, and I always appreciate when they make pops like these because I'm not that familiar with her rogues gallery outside of Cheetah and the other pop here, which we'll talk in a few minutes about. But Dr. Poison is one of her very first comic book villains in the comics, and the fact that I actually had her in the film was pretty awesome, and I absolutely love the way that this pop is styled. I love the colors, by the way. It's a beautiful teal sea green kind of thing, and I love the ties in the back of her mask holding everything together. I love her steampunk-like goggles. I love the way that her pose is, that she's got her hands in her front clasped together, and I also love the details on that little graft of skin that is on her face. I don't remember exactly what it is. I don't even think they actually talk about what it is or why it's there, but it definitely is a cool addition to the Wonder Woman series, and it is really cool to actually have another pop in Wonder Woman's villain rogues gallery. But the other one that we're going to take a look at is a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. It was in retail at Toys R Us, and it of course is Wonder Woman's arch nemesis, and it is the God of War, Ares, who is played in the movie by Professor Lupin himself, David Thewlis, and when Ares comes into his full form, I absolutely was blown away, even though some people were not really big fans of the whole CGI thing, but I loved the whole concept of how Ares actually got his armor, so I was really curious to see how they were going to do this in pop form. First of all, let's talk about another big plus. He is bigger than Wonder Woman, just a little bit, because he's supposed to be. He's the God of War. What do you expect? But they did so much amazing work on the detail of all of the sheet metal that was bound together to create his armor. You can see the pieces of sheet metal, and you can see the dividing lines. You can see the different styles and textures around the waist, as well as the feet, as well as on the helmet itself. And what I absolutely love is the fact that he doesn't really have a face, rather he has eyes and shadow, which is definitely something that you haven't seen in pops in a while, but it definitely is something that does show uniqueness. I mean, some people say it looks a little bit like Sauron, which I wouldn't deny, but it definitely is a cool pop, and all of these pops that I have, these are the only ones that I'm going to be getting in the Wonder Woman series at this point in time. I knew that Ares was going to come out, and I knew he was going to be an exclusive, so I'm really glad that he was very easy to obtain for a decent price. And I'm looking forward to seeing other Rogues Gallery villains from Wonder Woman, hopefully Cheetah in a possible sequel of Wonder Woman, and I will definitely like to see how they're going to feature her in a DCEU film, so I can add her as a pop in my collection. So, let's continue on with a couple of extra minutes. Get comfortable, everybody. Let's conclude the Summer of Batman. So, it just wouldn't be a proper conclusion to the Summer of Batman, nor would it be my own personal Funko Pop collection if I didn't invest in the Batman animated series line. Now, you guys know me. I'm a huge fan of Bruce Timm's work. I have a DCAU update video series. I have a DC Animated Films live show that I do every couple of months. It is just impossible for me to actually say there is no way that I'm going to collect Funko Pops based on one of the greatest cartoons, based on one of the greatest superheroes of all time. Believe it or not, there was a time where I even resisted, and I said at the very end, no, this is my childhood, this is something that I am so attached to. I may have the DVDs, but this just increases my fandom and my love for this amazing show based on these amazing comic book characters. So this is also my largest Funko Pop series collection. This is sitting pretty at 13 Funko Pops. I did not, as you can see, invest in the Cyborg Batman, which of course I know better as the Hard-Act Batman, because I just didn't like it. It's a character that I really didn't care much for in the cartoon. I wanted the traditional Rogues Gallery and the heroes as well. So what are we waiting for? Let's get a closer look. We're going to start off with the heroes, of course, the Gotham Knights, and another positive thing about this series is the fact that they went with the original animation, not the one that happened in the later 1990s when Bruce Timm's Superman animated series came out, as well as Justice League animation. We went back to the original landmark Emmy-winning series with the classic animation style. So, of course, we've got Batman, who was voiced brilliantly by Kevin Conroy, and look at this. I love the fact that this is a Batman with a mouth, because you just can't have this Batman without the mouth, and it just looks like the cartoon character. I also love how he is a little bit more top-heavy. As a matter of fact, a lot of these are a lot more top-heavy, but they've got the pecs in the front, and you've got the beautiful contrast of blue and black on the cape. The only reason why I am not holding him is because he actually is a little hard to stand on his own. You have to find a good angle for him to actually stand, but I love the way that his cape is flowing very much like the animated series when he was standing on the buildings, and I also love the fact that he's got those angry eyes, which makes him just... it oozes this animated character. They did such a great job. Let's also take a look at the rest of his Gotham Knights. These I can actually pick up because they're much easier to pose. We've got the Dick Grayson Robin. I'm glad they didn't go with the Tim Drake, and I really like this pop. I love that they did the whole effect with the hair. They also went with a much more subtle red rather than a bright red like they did in the animated series. I love the style of the R. They got it right, and I love the way that the cape flows. I love the black in the front and the gold in the back with the black boots, and I really think that they did a good job, just as well as they did with Batman. And then we've got Batgirl, who of course was Barbara Gordon. I love that they did the contrast with the black in the front and the blue in the back. I love her red flowing hair in the back. It looks just like the animated series. I also love the details on the costume with the big yellow bat on her chest, as well as the blue gloves and the solid gray, very similar to Batman's gray, but a little bit lighter. The only thing that I will say is they definitely had to experiment a lot with these pops, because the poses that they gave a lot of the female Funko Pops in this series, they don't look so great. They're very uneven because of the pose that they chose, which is the reason why the stands do come in handy. But as you can see, she is tilting a little bit to the side because one leg is a little longer than the other. But I'm not going to hold it against them because they just do look great. And now let's take a look at what I like to refer to as the anti-heroes. They're not necessarily heroes, nor are they necessarily villains. And if you have seen the animated series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let's take a look at a true fan favorite first, and that that, of course, is Catwoman. I love the way that this pop looks. Once again, the contrast of black in the front and very dull gray in the back. I love the cat ears. I love the details on the uniform. They've got the belt down perfectly. But probably the best part about this one is the whip. I love it. It's got a little coil at the very end with the little extra strings shooting out of the whip, just like in the cartoon. And I also love her pose. It just screams the animated series Catwoman so much. And I will probably say that this is one of the better stylized pops in the collection alongside the Batman. And now, I did not anticipate this one actually coming out in Wave 2, as well as some of the other Rogues Gallery villains, which we will discuss later, but this character is not from the animated series. This is from the animated movie, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, which if you haven't seen it, you must. I love the style of this pop. I love the eyes. I love the features on the mask. I love the big blade on the hand. I love the way that the cape looks because it was very ghost-like, very demon-like with the tears. It flows beautifully, and I love the way the hood looks. This is definitely one of the coolest pops in the collection, and once again, very impressed that they went with this character, but again, not quite a hero, not quite a villain, and if you don't know what that means, because this does look very much like a villain to me, you've got to see the animated movie. Batman Mask of the Phantasm is brilliant. But let's go to the Rogues Gallery. They are just as colorful as the 1966 Batman pops, and once again, love every single one of them. Got a few questions about them, to be honest with you, and I'm not going to necessarily rank them from best to worst, but I will definitely pick out a few before others. And let's go to what I like to refer to as, comedically, the bane of my existence. Let's go with Bane. Very happy that they actually did make him a pop. I mean, once again, there are a couple of villains that I'm surprised that they are saving. I'm just hoping that there's a Wave 3, but the one thing that I don't like about this Bane pop is the fact that he is just as big as Batman. And he's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be much taller because, my god, it's Bane. But what did they get right on this pop? The style of the mask. I love that they also gave him a mouth with the gritting teeth and the blood-red eyes. I love the look of the boots and the rest of his uniform, as well as the device that's on his wrist that is pumping the venom into his brain. Fans of the comic series Nightfall were very excited to see Bane become a pop, and I know a lot of people also love him in The Dark Knight Rises. I do have a small paint mishap right there on his upper lip, but it's really not something that takes away from this pop. But the one thing that really does is the fact that he's just so small, and he should be bigger. Like this guy. Let's look at Clayface. I didn't expect Clayface to become a pop, but oh my god, this is one of the best pops in the series. First of all, the mouth. They gave him that patented mouth that he has in the cartoon with the grin and the yellow teeth and the big bright yellow eyes. Absolutely beautiful. But what's so incredible is the fact that he's got layers of clay just dripping down. The effects that they did on this pop are just breathtaking. And yes, they've made him taller. They made him much taller than Batman. So why isn't Bane just as tall? I mean, I know that he's not as big as Clayface, but he is definitely still bigger, but they got Clayface right, and even though he is much bigger and bulky in the cartoon, I just have to praise them for the beauty that is this pop. Definitely innovative and stylized. Let's take a look at the queen of the world of plants, and that is Poison Ivy. I love the way that she looks. I'm also very happy that she was in the first series because she is a huge fan favorite. She's one of the best villainesses in the show, and they did a wonderful job. I love the contrast of green. Because of the fact that she's wearing green, she really does stand out amongst the rest of the villains, and it also complements her red hair absolutely wonderfully. I love that they really got the plant-like look on her entire costume wonderfully, especially on the boots. It looks like leaves at the very top, as well as the ends of her gloves. Once again, a beautiful pop, very fantastically stylized, very happy to have it in my collection. Let's take a look at Scarecrow. A very top-heavy pop. As you can see, he actually has a stand. This is the first series where I actually think that most of the males have stands just as much as the females do. But he actually had a couple of styles in the series, but this is the one that happened to be the one that was the better one at the end of the series, and I love it. Once again, a pop with a mouth. A lot of these pops have mouths, and there's no reason why they shouldn't have mouths, and that's because of the fact that there's so much character in the mouths of these animated characters, and that's why they're working so well as pops. But I love the color scheme. I love the style of his costume. You can see the stitching all the way around. Same thing on his face. I love the black around his white eyes and the yellow grin on his teeth, the flowing straw-like yellow hair, as well as the beautiful large hat. It makes me excited and hoping that there will be a Mad Hatter pop somewhere down the line, and even the rope that is tied around his waist to be his belt, the fact that it's on the side, also a fantastic stylized pop. And now let's take a look at two exclusives. The one that came from the DC Legion of Collectors box, and the featured San Diego Comic-Con 2017 exclusive in my series. We're going to take a look at Mr. Freeze, and we're going to take a look at Man-Bat. And I love them both. Once again, stylized, just like the cartoon. The Man-Bat is beautiful. Once again, face with a mouth, yellow eyes, the details on his ears, on his wings, the way that the knees are bent, just like in the cartoon. Also, quite surprised that he wasn't as tall as a character like Clayface, because he is also a taller pop, but it seems to me that you really can't pick and choose at this point in time, and it is just what it is. But if you really want to be satisfied, you also have to just understand that they're really going more so for the look than they are for the actual height differences. And he actually comes with a stand, but he seems to be standing just fine under his own power. They packaged it all wrong, though. It's actually underneath the plastic casing when you open the box. So you gotta take the whole plastic casing out and be careful with it because it's taped to the box. So if you want to utilize the stand for posing him in your office or your room, just make sure that you peel it off very carefully. Mr. Freeze, just like Poison Ivy, he stands out in terms of colors. I love the bright blue and purple all the way around, complementing with the gray just nicely, and the fact that they've got the nice clear helmet, it's a different texture, and you've got the facial expression which looks just like him in the animated series, with the red eyes on the goggles. Beautiful, love the freeze gun. It's just simple but so detailed, and that's what I love about these, and I love about this cartoon as well. They were so simple, but the animation was so complex at the same time. You've got the liquid nitrogen in the back as well, and the purple boots, of course. Beautiful pops. So happy that I invested in that collector's box, because this was going to be the only way unless I went on eBay to get him. I did actually have to go onto eBay for the Man-Bat, because they sold out of GameStop right away. I know that they restocked shelves, but I didn't want to chance it, but I got him for a good price, and, you know, stickers count, guys, so the fact that I have them two just standing out is pretty awesome. But let's conclude the Batman Animated Series Pops with the two greatest villains in the series who have really become a staple in popular culture as a duo. The Joker always was a popular one, but thanks to Bruce Timm, we got Harley Quinn. She was so popular in the show that she ended up getting a comic book. She's been in Suicide Squad. Everybody loves Harley Quinn, and this is a beautiful pop. I love the black and red, and they just make her pop just like she does in the television series. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the way she looks. She is practically flawless. I love her pose. Wouldn't it have been cool to maybe see her with a mallet? Yeah, that would have been cool, but they did a wonderful job with her, and she is just standing out as one of the coolest in the series. But I have gushed about Cesar Romero's Joker in the 66 Batman line. I gushed about the Jared Leto Joker in Suicide Squad, and you all know how much I adore my Michael Emerson voiced Joker from the Dark Knight Returns comic book series, pop series, but we've got the greatest Joker of all time, and that, of course, is Mark Hamill as the animated series Joker. There are some people that are not really liking this one because of the fact that they went with all green hair and not just black hair with a green stripe, but quite frankly, I don't think it would have worked on this pop. But there's so much that they got right with him. Once again, the mouth. The beautiful yellow grin with the teeth and the red lips. I love the eyebrow work. He looks just like him. I love the Joker card in hand. They've even done some amazing detail with the card on the back. I love the bright purple. It's perfect, just like the animated series. The orangish shirt, the blue tie, the pink flower, the black and white shoes, they just knocked it out of the park with this Joker. I absolutely love him and Harley Quinn, and that just goes without a doubt by saying that this entire series is just truly done with the fan in mind, and that is the reason why people love Funko Pop so much. I am so happy they made this series, but I'm really hoping that they do a Series 3 because I still want so many more villains. I want Riddler, Two-Face, Mad Hatter. I want some more of the heroes. I'd love a Harvey Bullock. I'd love a Renee Montoya, an Alfred, a Commissioner Gordon. There's just so many more characters that they can make with this series, and I have a feeling that they're going to. But what would make it even more dangerous is if they decided to actually do more Bruce Timm series, like a Superman animated series line, because I would love a little Lex Luthor pop from the Superman animated series, some Justice League pops. Who knows where they're gonna go, but for now, this is probably one of the best pop series in all of Funko's line, and I am honored to have this collection for my very own. So of course we're going to take a look at the specialty series, and I don't think a lot of people are thrilled with this one because we've already had plenty of Predator pops, but this one is the first one that features Predator with his mask on, so I guess for those Predator purists out there, you can get a specialty series Predator pop at your local comic and hobby shops. Funko, on the other hand, had two new special offers over at their store online at Funko.com, and it includes Butterhorn, the newest in their Monsters collection, and obviously this is something that caught on because Tumblebee sold out. So now you can get the second one in the set if you are inclined to complete this collection. And Funko is continuing on with their Zodiac collection by offering a Freddy Funko in his Leo the Lion costume. And here is something truly special. If you want to talk about the rarest of the rare, well, you can't get more rare than these two pops. We have two pops that are only going to be featured at baseball games this year. There is going to be a King Felix MLB pop of Felix Hernandez with a staff with a baseball, a cape, and a crown, which will only be available at a Seattle Mariners home game, and a special BB-8 with a baseball bat and ball only being offered at the San Francisco Giants. And this is pretty crazy, guys, because it's one thing about getting promotional bobbleheads. I know this from experience from going to many games at Citi Field as well as other promotional giveaways. But promotional giveaways like these are really going to spark some serious interest. So my advice, get there early and get there quick if you want to get your hands on these pops, because I guarantee you these are going to be worth a bundle. And speaking of really rare ones, Kevin Smith showed up at the Funko Fun Days at San Diego Comic-Con, and there you were able to get two special Fat Man pops, which are obviously Kevin Smith in his Fat Man persona. There's one of him with the orange and blue, and one of him in the red and black, and again, these are probably going to be worth a ton because of the fact that these are that unique and rare. But outside of all of the Comic-Con releases, there were some really special ones that were being offered. One of them was a glow-in-the-dark Baxter Stockman from the Nickelodeon booth at San Diego Comic-Con. One of them was a Ochako Unmasked from My Hero Academia, which was available through Funimation. There was also a special Game of Thrones Black Night King, which was offered at HBO and on HBO.com's website. And there were two special Toys R Us ones, which was the X-23, which I featured, as well as a Scott Pilgrim Plumtree shirt pop. And I am happy to say that I got the Scott Pilgrim because I finally found a Scott Pilgrim pop that I was interested in getting. And the best thing about some of these is the fact that these are not going to only be offered at the con. These are now being offered on each and every one of their respective websites. So go to Toys R Us. You can even find the Toys R Us exclusives in stores. I'm pretty certain you can find the Baxter Stockman on Nickelodeon.com, the Night King at HBO, and the Ochako over at Funimation.com. It looks like Pop in a Box, the pop service that a lot of people love and hate at the same time, is offering a Deadpool Venom mashup pop. And thank goodness I don't care for Pop in the Box because I think that this one is pretty stupid. But I don't know what to say about the Walgreens exclusive of Deadpool the Duck. This is basically a mashup of Deadpool and Howard the Duck. I don't know why they made them. I don't know what the purpose is. But I know that crazy Funko collectors are going to want both of them, so props to all of you. But let's take a look at what happened with the Smuggler's Bounty Box. We did, in fact, know that we were going to be getting the 3PO from Episode 1, but did we also know that we were going to be getting R5-D4 from Episode 4? No, I don't think so. If you don't know who R5-D4 is, he was the droid who had a bad motivator, and Luke and Owen decided to get R2-D2 instead. So that was really for the old school fans, and the details definitely are awesome on both of them. And speaking of Star Wars, there's also an exclusive TIE Fighter pilot in TIE Fighter. We already had the Darth Vader one, but now we actually have a regular TIE Fighter pilot. So for people who want to get this deluxe pop, no reason why you shouldn't go out and get it. And Walgreens is also going to be offering 2 more very special pops from The Nightmare Before Christmas. We are going to get a flocked Sally seated, and her cat is going to be flocked as well as a glow-in-the-dark behemoth. And then I mentioned that Sally's going to be glow-in-the-dark as well, so we've got some awesome specials coming from Walgreens. So keep your eyes open on Walgreens.com and check your stores, because these are definitely hard ones to get your hands on, and as someone who went out to get the Juggernaut, I would know. We're going to go into the world of DC. We have some awesome ones from Justice League and just some great DC ones in general. We've got an FYE 2-pack of Batman and Aquaman, so if you don't want to get them on their own, you can get them in this double pack. There's also going to be a Hot Topic exclusive of Mira, who is Aquaman's wife, as well as 2 Walmart exclusives of Wonder Woman and Cyborg holding mother boxes. And I'm actually kind of happy about the fact that this is happening, because I didn't really care for the Cyborg, the regular one, because it just looked so plain, but now I have my eyes set on the Walmart exclusive of Cyborg. And I'm also setting a new mission for myself, and that is to have an exclusive from all of the stores that actually have exclusives, online and retail. I've got plenty of Hot Topic ones, but I do not, in fact, have a Walmart one, so this is going to be an interesting hunt for me. And then you can get another interesting 2-pack from Hot Topic. It is Beach Bum, Harley Quinn, and Joker. I love them in their bikini and cabana shirt, and I have no intentions of getting them, but I know lots of people who will definitely get their hands on that one. And let's take a look at Marvel. We've got the Thor Ragnarok series, and they definitely keep getting better and better. The details look fantastic. I love all the intricate details on characters like the Hulk and Valkyrie, and I absolutely love the look of Hela as well as the way that Loki looks. I love the color scheme, but of course, it's just not gonna be an awesome line without exclusives, and there are plenty of them to choose from all major sources. The one that just doesn't seem to really interest me at all is the Bruce Banner. I mean, why do you it just looks like a regular pop. I just don't understand why they keep doing these things. But I think that the Hot Topic Thor looks great, and I absolutely love the Surtur and the Unmasked Hela. But you know what? I don't know if I'm going to get these at all for my collection, but I know that there are plenty of people that are going to want to get these Thor Ragnarok pops. We've got a new addition to the Spider-Man Homecoming collection, and it is Spider-Man in his prep school blazer. And I think the details with him in the headphones and his uneven eyes look really cool, but they're also going to be giving us some Inhumans. We've got the new series coming out, but these look like they are more based around the comic book versions, especially the way that Lockjaw looks, as well as the Hot Topic exclusive of Medusa, and these will go well with your Black Bolt if you already have that pop. And the NFL line is expanding with Wave 4, and we've got some people that we've already seen. I mean, how many Tom Bradys can we possibly need? And the same goes for Russell Wilson's. And we still have some teams that are lacking, but we did seem to get some players that we never got before. We've got Dak Prescott. We finally have some Atlanta Falcons, because obviously they were in the Super Bowl. They have to be represented. And there's also Ezekiel Elliott, as well as many others. And there's going to be some exclusives here as well. And I think the one that looks pretty awesome, they're all going to be from Toys R Us. I got to admit that the Phillip Rivers with that Color Wave jersey that has been featured in so many of the games recently on Thursday Night Football, these are going to be Toys R Us exclusives, so you definitely want to get your hands on these, especially if you've been collecting. But there's also some rumors about some old school NFL players that are going to be turned into pops, and from what I have heard, one of them is in fact going to be Joe Namath from the New York Jets. So I'm looking forward to showing you guys some glam shots, and I'm just letting you guys know that that is going to be added to my collection, and I will finally finish my sports series. And I think everybody is excited for Stranger Things. Season 2, so why not another wave of Stranger Things pops, including some characters who we hadn't gotten before. So I'm sure that that's exciting, everybody, as well as 2 characters in hazmat suits, and I believe that these are going to be chases as well. I'm not exactly sure, but the more news that I get, the more I will give to you. Harry Potter is also giving us Wave 4, and I happen to really like these pops. We seem to get a lot of characters in this wave from the Prisoner of Azkaban. We've got Harry, Ron, and Hermione from the Prisoner of Azkaban, and I can totally tell because of the outfits that they're wearing. I love the fact that Harry's got his Marauders map. I love the scratches on Ron's face and that he's holding scabbers. We've also got Professor Lupin, who is brand new, Ginny Weasley, as well as Peter Pettigrew, and a pop that a lot of people are very excited for, and that is Luna Lovegood with her lion head. And the world of horror, just in time for Halloween, everybody. We've got some great additions to the horror pops. Those, ever since Funko was created, have given us some of the best looking and best detailed, and there are so many people out there that collect these horror pops. But we've got everything from great cult classics to exclusives to chases. We've got The Shining, we've got Psycho, we've got Annabelle, Carrie, and Tiffany from the Chucky films, and I am just loving the FYE exclusive Norman Bates because it's black and white, and I love this movie. And I would love to actually have this one in my collection, so I'm hoping that I can hunt it down. And of course, we've got the Grady twins, we've got a Target exclusive, and a Target exclusive chase. So horror fans, this line keeps expanding, and I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps continuing, because in celebration of the new full-length film, It, from Stephen King's novel, we've got Pennywise aplenty. I know that the Tim Curry Pennywise did already come out, and a lot of people have it, but I am so excited for this brand new movie, and this looks exactly the way Pennywise should look in the book, and I've seen the trailer, and I think he's going to be so terrifying, and you can get the regular one, a chase, a Walmart exclusive, and the Hot Topic exclusive, and that's going to be the one that I want because it's just not Pennywise without a red balloon. Troll Hunters is finally coming. There was actually a little bit of an issue in regards to getting them out, and apparently they can only be bought at Target in retail, not online, and you can also get them on Funko.com because it is their product. But there are so many great pops in this set, and if you haven't seen Troll Hunters on Netflix yet, I highly recommend that you do. You've got Jim, Toby, Claire, Arg, Bular, and Blinky, who is my personal favorite, voiced by Kelsey Grammer. And now that I've actually seen a glam shot, I definitely want to get my hands on Blinky, so I'm hoping that I can get to a Target very soon and pick him up. And Brian Mariotti, we all know that he is a Hanna-Barbera fan, so of course we've got more Hanna-Barbera pops. Not necessarily the ones that I want, and these are not going to be hard to hunt down unless you want the chases, but you've got Breezely and Sneezely, which is a show that I don't remember ever watching, but I know who these characters are from the Hanna-Barbera world. But we've also got Top Cat and Benny from the show Top Cat. And I love the chase for Top Cat because the regular Top Cat is the Top Cat with the color scheme from the original 1950s, 1960s cartoon, and the one where he's got a little bit more of a pinkish rose color is him from more modern incarnations of Top Cat, which I think is great. So if you are a fan of these characters from Hanna-Barbera, I mean, I love Top Cat. I'm sure that there's going to be people that will love to continue collecting this series of Hanna-Barbera pops. Please bring the Jetsons soon. I mean, I love these, but we gotta get Jetsons. But cue that song that you just can't get out of your head, everybody, because it is here, the DuckTales line, and this is my childhood. I love these characters so much. I am very impressed with what they did with Huey, Dewey, and Louie, giving them each different poses, as well as Webby with her Quacky Patch doll. I love the way that Scrooge looks, especially with the fact that he's holding his #1 dime. Like, you've got to be a DuckTales fan to really appreciate that Scrooge. And I'm really curious to see how he's going to look in real life, especially with his glasses. We've also got a GameStop exclusive of Magica Dispel, and I look at that pop with a little bit of remorse because she was voiced by the great June Foray, who just recently left us, and I would love to get Magica in my collection. And apparently I've heard that this is only Wave 1. There are more DuckTales pops on the way, so I'm very curious to know what they're going to be doing. But at this point in time, I don't know if I want to get the whole set. If they gave me Huey, Dewey, and Louie and Webby in a multi-pack, you know, maybe I would consider getting getting them, but I don't know if I want to get them individually. I gotta look at them up close to really get an understanding of if I do or don't want them. But Scrooge is a definite, as well as Magica, and this probably means that I gotta hunt down a launch pad for the Darkwing Duck line, because I don't know if he's gonna end up in the DuckTales line. When it comes to Pops that I have been so patient to finally find out when they were coming out, these are two of them. It is Mystery Science Theater 3000, it is Tom Servo and Crow T Robot. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to own these two Pops. They look wonderful. I love the way that Tom Servo looks, especially with the texture. I am so curious to see how he is going to feel. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but yeah, I'm really curious to know what the feel of these two Pops are going to be. I've already pre-ordered them from Entertainment Earth, and I am so excited to have these two guys in my collection, and I'm going to put them right next to my Uncle Scrotor Pop. Thank you very much for watching today, guys. It's always a pleasure to sit down and talk Funko Pops with you. I'm really excited. If you put some comments in the box below, I'd like to know if any of you went out and managed to get a couple of Pops from San Diego Comic-Con, and more importantly, let me know which ones you did get. And let's start putting some more money aside, because we've got New York Comic-Con coming up in 2 months, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the Pops that are going to be featured there as exclusives will be. But until then, I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.